Hi guys, this is Young Nguyen from Advanced Property Strategies, and welcome back to another podcast edition with Young Nguyen, and I'm interviewing Alan Castorina, and he's a very, very successful Queensland buy, reno, flipper. He's also a property developer. He did his first subdivision last year, and he's probably got a few more grey hairs because of it, but it's all good, mate. He made good money, six figures, and last year I think he did about 10 or so projects. He'll correct me very, very soon. Alan's he was a full-time employee for about 16 years working out in the mines, you could say, out west or North Queensland, and now he's a full-time property investor and developer. So welcome, Alan.
G'day, how you going? Young, how are you?
Yeah, really good, mate, really good. It's a shame, your webcam couldn't work today, but it doesn't matter. You've got you here, and we're going to make it happen. So, Alan, do you want to just share with people your journey? Obviously, you've done some courses with me. You've done my fast track mentoring program. You're currently in my diamond mentoring program, and you quit your job also in the last 12 to 24 months, which is exciting. But we didn't start there, and there was a fair bit of water under the bridge and a fair bit of work in between. So, do you want to share with people your journey as an employee? You know, doing a few buy and holds, and why you're buy, reno, selling?
Yeah, for sure. So it was, I started as a pilot many years ago, and then worked in the mining industry, and wealth has always been in the background. So I've always been looking to build wealth. Started in the share market and trading futures, which is still ongoing. Then we've decided to build a rental portfolio, which, one of the Kiyosaki rules is to buy assets. So that's what we went down that path and bought 10 properties in about 5 years, but we quickly ran out of money, and because the banks wouldn't lend us anymore. And I wasn't happy at that point because I knew that we'd have to keep working to pay these houses off. So it wasn't a long-term strategy. It was good to build wealth in the long term, but not in the short term. So we decided to. I heard you talking on a podcast, and I kept listening for you for some more of you there. And Michelle, my wife, was down at Brisbane at the time, and you were doing a bus trip. And I rang Shell up and said, best you go to that bus trip and have a look at that. And the next minute we signed up, and things have changed like big time since then. That was a big turning point for us because we changed our passion for real estate into a business, and now we're living off our passion like that. So it's good, yeah. And so today we like Young said, what you said there before, 10, we did 9 last year, and just looking to get better and better.
Yeah, awesome. Very good, mate, very good. And so basically what you're saying was you got to, let's say, 10 buy and hold properties, you're servicing up to the eyeballs or debt up to the eyeballs, capital growth wasn't that much or so, but can you just share with us people, because often people, they'll go to seminars, they'll go to workshops, and people will talk about buy and hold, and they'll attach that conversation to, let's say, someone like Warren Buffett and buy and hold forever. And it may work for people, but in the majority, it can be actually detrimental to them, especially if it's negatively geared and they lose their job, right, and they can't afford the repayments and they got no equity because the market's not growing. So do you want to just share with them a little bit more of the pain that you're experiencing so people understand your transition and why you pivoted to do something else?
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. That strategy depends a lot, or all on the market, because you, especially if you're buying a lot of people do buy with it negative geared, so your actual cash flow diminishes as you keep purchasing these places, and especially if, like, a lot of people advocate inner city and scarcity, those places, especially nowadays, 3 to 5% yield isn't a good strategy in the short term anyway, because your cash flow, so your lifestyle has to drop, and you have to keep funding these properties, and in the hope that one day the market takes the the values up, and then you can sell and move forward. But that might take 10 years, might take 20, even 30. So who knows? And then there's always a couple of duds in the portfolio, which I found. You know, you buy 10, you might have to sell 3. And so then you got to start again. And then, you know, so that resets the timeline. So you don't get the first 10 straight away.
Yeah.
So that's the downside to that, and it locks you up in the employee quadrant for a long time, and longer than what you'd think you're going to be there for, you know. So
yeah, for sure. And here's the thing: is I don't think that buy and hold just as a strategy is a bad thing. It's just you got to look at it for what it's worth. I do buy and hold as well. I've got a whole stack of rental properties and a whole stack of tenants. Some of them can be a pain in the backside at the moment. I'm just about to build a 5-bed, 5-bath place and get another 5 tenants. And cross fingers by the end of the year I'll add another 5 tenants to that. So call it add 10 tenants this year into 2 buildings, right? But that's another conversation. But my point is that buy and hold needs to be part of a bigger strategy, not just a be all and end all, especially if you're going to be negatively geared. So mine are going to definitely be positively geared. They'll be cash cows, which will be completely different. So so in terms of buy, reno, hold to buy, reno, sell, I think previously you did I think 7 renos, and last year you did 9. So I stand correct, it was 9. I was 1 short, as well as I think one vacant block of land as well. So Alan, do you want to just share with people why renos? Like why renos full stop? Because obviously, so not obviously, but you said before that you were an airline pilot previously and you worked out in the mines. So why renovations? Why do you like that particular strategy as opposed to building townhouses or apartments or any other strategy in the property space?
Yeah, well, Renos appeal to us because of the quick cash. We're in and out quite quickly, so we can buy a property and renovate it in about 4 to 6 weeks and have it sold again. So from settlement to settlement, 3 months on average.
Yes.
So and that's cash flow. That's cash flow. So you can move into the next one. The profits are smaller than subdivision deals or those bigger projects, you know, like builds. But I find the cash flow suits us, and you increase the volume. All you have to do is increase volume and staff, and you can make those big profits as well. Yeah. So there's downside to renos. You know, you got tradies to manage the projects like a racing car. You have to go in and really everything's done fast. Everything has to be lined up, tradie after tradie. So that's the downside. Whereas a subdivision, more slow motion.
That's all right.
So
and you make them go fast if you wanted to, mate.
Yeah,
right? Sometimes.
That's right. Yeah, you just got to sit and wait sometimes as much as you want to move it forward. Yeah. So so both have got their challenges, but Reno is a great strategy for us because and it's a great transition from employee mindset.
Yeah.
Because the money was coming in for us on a monthly basis, and Renos can come in on a monthly basis too. You know, if you've got if you get one a month. So so it's.
And it's a real bit of a mind-boggling thing for some people who, are listening to you and thinking about doing one reno a month. Some of them are struggling to find one reno a year, right, with their full-time jobs and going out look on Saturdays and compete with every other Tom, Dick and Harry. I completely get that. But, it's a completely different mindset. And I know that previously you weren't doing buy, reno, sell until you met me. So I'm really happy that the strategies work for you. We'll talk about no money down very, very soon. But, in terms of the cash flow challenges and like you said, with employee transition to doing property full time, do you want to just share with people? I know that last year, I think the first 5 months after you'd quit your job, it was very, very challenging for you, because you hadn't got the funnel of deals that you wanted. So do you want to just share with people some of the emotional challenges that you've had to overcome to, really feel comfortable leaving your job permanently forever?
Yes, that was a big challenge for those first 4 or 5 months, just before the election actually. And remember we were talking there for a few times, and Yeah, so there was a lot of doubt. Once the the deals weren't coming in, I was doubting because we were doing the right thing. Too much money's going out the door. Maybe we shouldn't be buying this now. So there's a lot of those conversations going through our heads, and so it was just a matter of sticking to the system and keep doing the same things over and over again and pushing through it. But there was a lot of pressure, a lot of doubt. So that was causing resistance to doing those actions. So I had to push each day, and I was finding I was looking at my goals, my end of year goals a lot more, and I was relying on a lot of mindset tasks each day to push through it. So and then a few conversations with yourself and the support. You helped a lot because you said keep going, and and other fellow diamonds that in our group, having a chat to those guys, and they're having the same struggle. So we were sort of the community stuck together. I was depending on the network to help push through it as well. So there's a lot of challenges, but there was a lot of support along the way as well. It would have been a very lonely journey on my own, myself and Michelle. So yeah.
Keep going, mate. You're on fire.
No, that's right. No, I was just going to say, if we were on our own, we would have. I believe we would have pulled out. We could have pulled out there at one point because there was 5 months and nothing happening, and we were relying on that income. It was really challenging.
Yeah. Oh, look, absolutely, and that's why people go back to jobs. It is a mindset thing, with delayed gratification. If you think about the Cashflow Quadrant, for those of you who are listening to this podcast, you may have read Kiyosaki's books, Cashflow Quadrant, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, those kind of things. And from that point of view, the Cashflow Quadrant is a lot of what I use to teach people. And it's all well and good to read the book, but it's no different to reading a book about riding a bike and learning how to ride a bike. You actually got to get on it. You got to find someone who's done it to support you, because it can be done. So my point is, in the Cashflow Quadrant book, they talk about employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor, ESBI. So, transitioning from an employee basis where you've been an employee for 16 odd years and probably a few years or decades before that, this is an untraining or a retraining for you. It's like learning from one sport to another, and the other sport, you've never made long-term money on it necessarily doing buy, reno, sell. So like you said, there was a 5 month lag on it where you made no money, or there was deals that were in the pipeline that hadn't turned over. An employee, you get paid every week or every month, and that it's going to come in. And that's the mindset of an employee or self-employed, is security, right? Having that security of that cash flow come in. But transitioning to the right-hand side, which is the cash flow quadrant, business owner, investor, right? There's going to be times where you don't make money. I'll give you an example. I'm working on a 30-lotter land subdivision at the moment. It took us 1.5 years to get the approval through, and now finally at the 2-year mark, we're turning soil, and there's another 12 months in it. So imagine not making money for 3 years, and at the end, the pot at the end of the rainbow will be 7 figures, which is super exciting. We'll be able to put that baby to bed and deal with all the capital raising, debt, investors and all that, put that away. But it doesn't, from that point of view, lucky I've got other deals, other income, rental income, passive income coming in to keep everything going. Otherwise, going 3 years without income, most people would go broke, right, without having the resources financially and emotionally to be able to deal with that. So very good, mate, very good. And so let's go back to basics. Because a lot of the guys listening here, they'll probably be on their train to work or coming home from work listening to this podcast and go, oh my God, who's this Alan guy and how do I quit my job? And other people going, geez, why the hell renovations? We hate painting. But just share with people, what are the kind of houses that you look for? Just the fundamental stuff. You're looking mainly with your buy, reno, sells. What kind of houses and conditions you look for?
Yeah, well, we look for the houses that we can add value. So that means properties that are run down, properties that have been neglected. We often find the ones that are hoarders' houses or houses that are, tenants that have destroyed, the owners don't want anymore. We like the houses, the timber houses, the ones off stumps, because they're easy to convert. We can move bathrooms and kitchens really easily, whereas houses on slabs are a bit more challenging. And price point, we like houses under the under the 400k mark. That's preferable because they're in the affordability range, so they're easy to sell, and less challenges in terms of what we've got to put in it. So like kitchens and bathrooms are kept simple, whereas in the higher budget, in the 800 plus, you have to start putting in really good stuff. So the budgets drive up immensely. So and the owner's a bit more picky too, when you're trying to sell it. So you have to get it right. So house type, locations, we've basically on the south side of Brisbane, so between, and what I said basically lands between 10 and 20 Ks. You won't find those houses inside 10 because they're a lot more expensive. And you don't want the big ticket items, so roofs, the big four are the roof, foundation, electrical and plumbing. So if you can avoid those four, you can spend a lot of money on those and you won't see them.
You
can spend up 40 grand on those four things and you won't even know they're there. So avoid those big four.
Wastage, mate. Wastage. You don't want to waste the money.
Yeah. No wastage there. That's right. So sometimes you can't do without it. Sometimes you might have to put a roof on because the deal will stack up anyway. But
So one of the biggest things that I talk about in my trainings, mate, is you make your money when you buy, right? You make your money when you buy, not when you sell. And that's a principle about buying right. Do you want to just share with people your take on that and how many times you probably applied on that and what kind of vendors that you've been negotiating to get really, really discounted properties?
Yeah, that's right. The money's all made at the start and you have to buy it and make all that money there, otherwise it won't work. So I do a FISO, basically based on the sale price. I take all the costs out and I work on, and I've got a buy price, and that's the price we have to buy it to make money. If we don't buy it at that price, we don't do the deal. We don't sneak up because we like the house, or maybe it might sell for a little bit more on the other side. We don't do that because that's taking a big risk. So that buy price, and then we'll put a bit of a buffer as well. We put buffer in. So what was the last thing that you said? That
kind of vendors that you focus on, kind of sellers that you look for.
That's right. So vendors, so motivated people that want out and can't afford to do their houses up to put on the market, and we find that many times, or most times, we are helping them out. We they want money now and they want out because the bank's knocking on the door, or they want to they don't want the tenant anymore. They want it. There's heaps of reasons, but generally we've got cash and we're deal ready and we can move straight away, and time is a big factor for a lot of our vendors, and so it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
For both us and for them,
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, what you're saying is oftentimes people relate to when you're buying a bargain or a discounted property that you're opportunistic and trying to take advantage of sellers. But most of the time, I'd say that you're looking for a motivated seller so you can help them, right? They're in a position where they might be in a bind and they need to sell quickly, and you come in and you solve that problem, right? And that's what being a property investor or developer is about. So to kind of wrap this up, Alan, I think you've been very, very generous with the information. You want to just share with people, just 3 tips for beginners, whether they're looking at getting in the property game or whether they're looking at buy, reno, sell, or just getting into their first property. Can you just give them 3 basic tips so that they can feel not overwhelmed, in this game and all this information that's out there?
Yeah, well, the one that comes to mind straight away is to find somebody to model against.
Yes.
Pick somebody, and because they've done all the work, and they know the systems, and so use someone to model against. One thing is to get deal ready. I believe you just can't go in and start this process unless you're ready to buy. So you have to get structures, talk to solicitors, talk to the person that you're going to model against, get structures in place, finance approved, all that sort of stuff. So get deal ready, and come up with a strategy. Sit down and nut out a strategy first, because if you go into it willy-nilly, it's not going to come out very well. So pick a strategy. So if it's reno, pick a strategy, pick a suburb, start with a suburb, and then grow slowly and organically, and do the same thing again and again.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So in summary there, what Alan's saying is, first one, get a model, like get a mentor, find someone that you relate to in terms of their strategies. Secondly is get deal ready, get your finances ready, get your deposit ready, get pre-approved. And thirdly, have a strategy meeting or conversation with someone who's in the marketplace doing deals, making money, right? Because I know that, and I can take credit for Alan here, is that, you're working on 10 to 20 Ks outside of Brisbane. We're not going to really say where, but I know that you saw one of the suburbs, or Michelle saw one of the suburbs on the bus trips, and you've done a whole stack of deals in that particular suburb and surrounding suburbs. So, onto your 16th renovation pretty much after working with me, and, those suburbs have treated you very well, haven't they?
Yeah, no, that was good. That was a good big turning point. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. So awesome, guys. Look, guys, we're going to finish up there. Thank you so much, Alan, for being with us, mate, and giving us your precious time. And look forward to catching up with you another time. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, my pleasure, Young. No problem. Thanks very much.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Look, thanks for listening to this episode with Young New and Advanced Property Strategies. We'll catch you another time, and talk to you soon. Catch you later.